Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because today we are diving into a coin that many people have ignored for decades, yet some collectors believe it could hide an incredible story and an unbelievable value. If you enjoy rare coins, hidden treasures, old money, and the thrill of discovering history in your own pocket, then stay with me until the very end, because this South African coin from 1970 has captured the attention of collectors around the world. Now imagine this for a moment. You're cleaning out an old drawer, opening a dusty toolbox, or checking a forgotten jar of coins sitting in the corner of your house for years. Most people see loose change. Most people see nothing important, but experienced collectors know something different. Sometimes the smallest coin can carry the biggest surprise. Today's coin is the South African 5 cents from 1970. At first glance, it looks simple, ordinary, and easy to overlook. But behind that small piece of metal is a fascinating history connected to a changing nation, a unique design, and the possibility of extraordinary collector interest. Back in 1970, South Africa was going through major political and economic changes. Coins from that period were part of everyday life for millions of people. Workers carried them in their pockets. Shopkeepers counted them by hand. Children used them to buy sweets and snacks. Yet over time, many of these coins disappeared from circulation. Some were damaged, some were melted, and some were simply forgotten. The 5-cent coin was minted with a strong metallic appearance that gave it a solid and respectable feel. Unlike modern lightweight coins that many people barely notice, older coins from this era had character. When you hold one, you can almost feel the history in your hand. The sound it makes when dropped on a table is different. The weight feels different. Older collectors especially appreciate these details because coins like this remind them of a different time in the world. One of the reasons collectors love the 1970 South African 5 cents is the design. The craftsmanship reflects a period when coins were made with pride and identity. The details on the coin represent the authority and image of South Africa during that era. Even after decades, many surviving examples still show impressive detail if they were stored properly. But here is where things become truly interesting. Not every 1975 cents coin is valuable. This is something many people misunderstand. The average circulated coin may only attract small interest. However, rare variations, minting errors, exceptional condition, and unusual production details can completely change the story. Experienced collectors search for tiny differences that most people never notice. A small error in the lettering, an unusual strike, a misalignment, a rare metal variation. Even a coin with almost no wear can become highly desirable because condition matters enormously in the coin world. This is why older collectors spend hours studying coins under bright lights and magnifying glasses. They're not just looking at money. They are hunting for hidden history and hidden opportunity. Imagine owning a coin that almost nobody paid attention to for decades, only for experts later to realize that a rare version existed in very limited numbers. Suddenly, collectors begin searching everywhere. Auctions become competitive. Prices climb higher and higher. That is how ordinary-looking coins become legendary in the collector market. Many people think rare coin collecting is only for wealthy investors, but that is not true. Some of the most valuable discoveries came from ordinary people who simply kept old coins safe without realizing their future importance. A retired worker, a grandfather, a farmer, or someone sorting through inherited belongings can suddenly uncover something remarkable. That possibility is what makes coin collecting so exciting, especially for older generations. Every coin tells a story. Every scratch, every detail, every date carries a connection to the past. When someone holds a 1970 South African 5 cents coin, they're touching a piece of real history from over half a century ago. Collectors often say that older coins carry an energy modern coins no longer have. In the past, coins were symbols of national identity and craftsmanship. Today, most coins are quickly spent and forgotten. But vintage coins from the 1970s remind people of hard work, family traditions, and simpler times. Now let us talk about what serious collectors actually look for when evaluating this coin. First is the condition. Coins with sharp details, clean surfaces, and little wear are always more attractive. If the coin still has strong original shine, that can increase collector interest dramatically. Second is rarity. Some coins were produced in lower quantities than others, while certain versions may have survived in very small numbers. Rare examples always attract attention. Third is the possibility of errors. Error coins are among the most exciting discoveries in numismatics. A mistake made during production can transform an ordinary coin into something collectors desperately want to own. Fourth is historical demand. Coins connected to important periods in history often become more desirable over time because collectors value both the object and the story behind it. The 1970 South African 5-cent coin checks many of these boxes, which is why interest continues to grow among collectors who specialize in African coinage and vintage currency. And here is something many people do not realize. As older generations become more interested in preserving history, coins like this gain emotional value in addition to financial value. Some collectors are willing to pay extraordinary amounts simply because a coin reminds them of their youth, their country, or an important chapter in their life. That emotional connection can drive prices far beyond what most people expect. Now, think about this carefully. Somewhere right now, old coin collections are sitting untouched in cabinets, drawers, and boxes. Families pass them down without checking them carefully. Some people spend rare coins without knowing what they had. Others keep them hidden away for decades. This is why knowledgeable collectors always say the same thing. Never ignore old coins. A single detail can change everything. And now we come to the part that has shocked many viewers and collectors alike. Rumors and collector discussions surrounding rare high-grade or unusual versions of the South African 5 cents 1970 have created incredible excitement in the coin world. Some believe that an extremely rare example with extraordinary features and perfect preservation could reach an astonishing estimated value connected to the unbelievable figure of $57,000,000,000.
Before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and stay with me till the very end, because what I'm about to reveal about this small coin could completely change the way you look at the money sitting in your drawers, old boxes, or even your pocket right now. Now imagine this. It's 1969. The world is changing fast. People are focused on big events, big headlines, big currencies. But quietly, in South Africa, a small, simple coin is minted. A 5 cents piece. Nothing flashy. Nothing extraordinary at first glance. Just another coin passing from hand to hand, day after day, year after year. Most people never gave it a second thought. They used it, spent it, lost it, forgot it. But here's where things get interesting. Because sometimes, history hides its greatest secrets in the smallest objects. This 1969 5 cents coin is not just metal. It carries a story. A story of rarity, timing, and hidden value that only a few people in the world truly understand. And today, you're going to understand it too. Now let me ask you something. Have you ever held an old coin and wondered if it might be worth more than its face value? Most people don't even bother checking. They assume it's just spare change. That assumption has cost people fortunes, because coins like this one, under the right conditions, can become incredibly valuable. The South African 5 cents from 1969 was produced during a period when minting techniques, materials, and even small design variations could create rare versions without the public ever noticing. Over time, many of these coins were lost, damaged, or melted down. That means the number of surviving high-quality pieces today is extremely limited, and when something becomes rare, its value begins to rise, but rarity alone is not enough. Condition matters. A lot. A coin that looks worn, scratched, or heavily circulated may still hold some value, but the real power lies in coins that have been preserved. Coins that were tucked away, forgotten, protected from time. These are the ones collectors fight for. Now picture this scenario. A man, maybe someone just like you, is cleaning out an old drawer. He finds a small collection of coins. Among them is a 1969 5 cents from South Africa. It doesn't look like much, but instead of ignoring it, he decides to take a closer look. He studies the details, the year, the design, the condition. That moment of curiosity changes everything, because what he holds might not just be a coin. It might be a hidden asset. You see, collectors around the world are always searching for specific coins. Not just any coin, but the right coin, the right year, the right mint, the right condition. When all these factors align, the value can skyrocket, and this is where the 1969 5 cents becomes truly fascinating. There are certain versions of this coin that are extremely difficult to find today. Whether due to limited production runs, minting variations, or simply the passage of time, these coins have become highly desirable in the collector market. Now think about supply and demand. When thousands of collectors are searching for something that only a handful of people own, what happens? The price goes up. Sometimes gradually. Sometimes dramatically. This is not luck. This is how the market works. But here's the part most people miss. Opportunities like this don't come with announcements. No one knocks on your door and tells you that the coin in your hand could be worth a fortune. You have to be the one who pays attention. You have to be the one who looks closer when everyone else looks away. And that's why you're here right now, because you're not just watching. You're learning. You're thinking differently. Now let's talk about what makes this coin even more powerful. Age, history, scarcity, condition. These four elements combine to create something extraordinary. And when a coin like the 1969 South African 5 cents checks all these boxes, it enters a completely different level of value. Collectors don't just buy coins. They invest in stories. They invest in history they can hold in their hands, and this coin represents a moment in time that can never be recreated. Every year that passes makes it rarer. Every damaged or lost coin increases the importance of the ones that remain. This is why serious collectors are willing to pay amounts that most people would never expect for something so small. Now let me be very clear, not every 1969 5 cents coin is worth a fortune. That's the reality. But the right one, in the right condition, with the right characteristics, can be life-changing. This is why knowledge is power. You don't need to be rich to start. You don't need to be an expert overnight. You just need awareness. You need to start looking at things differently because hidden value is everywhere. Most people just don't see it. So next time you come across old coins, don't ignore them. Don't throw them aside. Take a closer look. Study them. Compare them. Because you never know what you might be holding. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. In rare and exceptional cases, a 1969 South African 5 cents coin, especially one in outstanding condition or with unique characteristics, has been associated with values reaching up to $2.4 million.
Before we begin, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon, because what you're about to hear could change the way you look at that old jar of coins sitting in your drawer. Today, we are diving deep into the story of a South African coin that might just be one of the most astonishing finds in numismatic history, the 1968 5 cents coin known as the Sword. Now, if you've ever held an old coin between your fingers, you know there's a certain weight to it, not just metal, but time, memory, and mystery. Each coin carries a piece of the past, a silent witness to decades gone by. But some coins, rare and almost forgotten, carry something else entirely, a secret value far beyond their humble face. And this little 5-cent piece from 1968 is one of them. Picture South Africa in the late 1960s, a country in transition, a place of sharp contrast and deep history. The rand had only recently replaced the British pound, and the nation was minting coins that reflected its new identity. The 5 cents coin of that era seemed simple enough, a small copper-nickel piece featuring the image of a blue crane bird, South Africa's national symbol, designed by the famous engraver Tommy Sassin. To the ordinary eye, it was just change, something you'd slip into your pocket without a thought. But to collectors, this particular year, 1968, holds a whisper of legend. You see, in numismatics, it's not always the most glamorous coins that hold the most value. It's the mistakes, the trials, the rare mintings that make history. And in 1968, something happened during the minting process that produced a very small batch of coins unlike any other. These coins, known informally as the sword variety, were minted under unusual circumstances, possibly as test strikes or low-mintage specimens that never reached public circulation. Some say they were part of an internal minting experiment. Others claim they were struck using a die with subtle variations that only the sharpest eyes can see. For years, few people even knew this variety existed. Coins circulated and disappeared, worn down in the hands of everyday people buying milk, bread, and petrol. But somewhere, in the folds of time, a few untouched pieces remained, pristine, gleaming, and perfectly preserved. Decades later, one of these coins surfaced in the possession of a retired South African engineer who'd kept it in a small wooden box since his youth. He had no idea that this simple coin, tucked away for over 50 years, would one day make global headlines. When he brought it to a coin dealer, the reaction was immediate. The expert noticed the finer details, the slightly darker tone of the metal, the subtle alignment differences, the sharper relief on the blue crane's feathers. After careful examination and verification, it became clear this was no ordinary 5-cent coin. This was the elusive sword variant from 1968, one of perhaps only a handful known to exist. Word spread through collector circles like wildfire. Coin forums buzzed. Auction houses made discreet inquiries. How could something so small, so seemingly insignificant, suddenly become a treasure of immense worth? But that's the allure of numismatics. It's not about size, it's about story. It's about rarity, condition, and the human narrative that accompanies the metal. As experts dug deeper, they confirmed that only a few specimens were ever documented, each in near-perfect mint state. The composition, too, was slightly different from the standard issue, adding another layer of fascination. Some theories suggest a limited test run was ordered by the mint master of the time, a man named Sword, hence the nickname that stuck ever since. Collectors from around the world began searching through their old coin albums, hoping they might be sitting on one without realizing it. South Africans who had grown up during the 1960s rummaged through jars and boxes, thinking of the change they once received at corner stores or petrol stations. For many men of that generation, the 1968 5-cent coin was a familiar part of their youth. But for a lucky few, it could now represent an unexpected fortune. Now, let's pause for a moment and think about what makes this so captivating. A coin that once bought a loaf of bread is now worth more than most houses, more than some small businesses, more than an entire lifetime of savings for many people. It reminds us that history hides its treasures in plain sight. It's not just about luck, it's about awareness, about appreciating the value of what others overlook. Collectors and investors today are willing to pay astronomical sums for verified pieces. The appeal lies not only in rarity but in the cultural memory it carries. For South Africans, it's a tangible link to a turbulent yet defining era. For global collectors, it's a symbol of how numismatics can preserve pieces of a nation's soul. And for those of us who simply love a good story, it's a reminder that the ordinary can sometimes become extraordinary. Over the years, several of these coins have been authenticated and graded by professional services, each one adding to the mystique of the sword legend. Some have sold quietly in private collections, their exact prices undisclosed. But every now and then, one surfaces at auction, and the numbers are staggering. Bidders from Europe, North America, and Asia compete fiercely, knowing how seldom these coins appear. Now, here's where things take a truly breathtaking turn. In one of the most astonishing private sales recorded, a near-perfect specimen of the 1968 sword 5-cent coin fetched a value few could have ever imagined, an astounding $2.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin once worth a nickel now carries a price tag of $2.5 million. It stands as a testament to how history, rarity, and passion can elevate a tiny piece of metal into a masterpiece of human fascination. So, the next time you stumble upon an old coin, don't just toss it aside. Look closer. Hold it to the light. Think about where it's been, what hands have touched it, and what stories it might still hold. Because sometimes, the greatest treasures aren't buried in distant lands or locked in vaults, they're hiding right there in your own collection, waiting for someone to notice. And if you enjoyed this story, don't forget to subscribe to this channel for more tales of lost history, hidden value, and the remarkable world of rare coins. Who knows? The next $1 million discovery might just be in your pocket.